Hello everyone, welcome once again to another instalment of Rational Thinking. My name's Nathan, I'm one of the corporate dealers here at Rational Foreign Exchange. This week I'm going to be talking about UK inflation figures and some concerns that some members of the ECB have regarding economic projections. Despite the UK being granted a Brexit extension until the 31st of October from the European Union, last week Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt said that it was imperative that the UK look to finalise the exit agreements by the 23rd of May in order to avoid European elections. He feared that having European elections would be disastrous for the Tories in future polls, and he wanted to avoid, if possible, the need to go to the European elections. On Wednesday, the Bank of England released their monthly inflation figures, with inflation coming in slightly below expectations of 1.9% and below the Bank of England's target inflation rate of 2%. This is despite strong wage growth, outstripping inflation figures, and we had some good employment figures with unemployment sitting around the lowest level in nearly 44 years. But despite all the Brexit uncertainty, it remains unclear whether the Bank of England will look to raise rates until all this uncertainty is abated. The euro was put under further pressure last week after reports were released that several members of the ECB voting committee felt that the current ECB economic projections were a little too optimistic. They cited fears over a slowdown in China, continued Brexit uncertainty and uncertainty with respect to trade talks between the US and China, feeling that the current economic projections were a little too rosy and optimistic. A fairly quiet week this week in the UK in terms of economic data, but once again Brexit headlines will dominate, with Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn set to resume cross-party talks in order to break this deadlock, and with the backbencher group of MPs, the 1922 committee, are set to meet to see what avenues they can explore in order to try to remove Theresa May as Prime Minister. Despite Theresa May winning the no confidence vote in December last year, and effectively with her position safe for the next 12 months, they're looking to see what avenues they can explore to try to remove her as Prime Minister. This week on Thursday, we see US durable goods orders released for the month of March, which are expected to show a small amount of growth despite contracting in February last month. And then on Friday, we have US preliminary GDP for Q1 on an annualised basis, which is expected to show a figure of 1.8% after a print of 2.2% for the previous quarter. Thank you once again for tuning in to Rational Thinking this week. If you have any questions or queries regarding your currency requirements, please feel free to get in touch.